Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining. We're currently sitting here in Budapest at the Lithium Ion Battery Europe 2023 conference, which is hosted by SMM, the Shanghai Metals Market. I'm very excited to have Shirley with me today from SMM. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And we have a couple of topics we want to talk about today, and of course we want to use this opportunity to talk about China and some of the developments also related to batteries and battery materials. So you've been in this space for quite some time, so it would be fantastic if you maybe can start a bit on some of the trends you have seen over your past decade or so you have been working in this space.
Okay. Hello everyone, this is Shirley Wang from Shanghai Metals Market, and I'm the General Manager of the New Energy Research Team, and I'm in charge of pricing and industry research of nickel, cobalt, lithium, as well as battery materials of EVs and energy storage systems, etc. And my members daily track the market in China and ex-China, so we have a better understanding of the market dynamics. And for the view of the future prices of lithium carbonate, nickel sulfate, and cobalt sulfate, we think from the supply side, all of the chemicals have enough capacities as well as many resources, but we are more concerned of the demand side. We think it depends on the EV and the ESS, etc. Since it decides the growth of demand. For EV market, we think the global EV has gone through a vast development boost through early years like 2021 and 2022. But when we are taking a further look through the future, the expected increase in sales of the EVs is slowed down based on the different reasons. And for energy storage system, with the driving force of carbon neutralization and the policies in different countries, we think the demand significantly increased in 2022, and in the future, the demand will still grow rapidly. So overall, we think the demand growth will be lower than the supply growth in the future. So we think the lithium carbonate, nickel sulfate, and cobalt sulfate will be in a surplus, and to an extent we think the price will hit a lower level. But we think when the price hits the cost for the most producers, the price will be bounced back. For specific details, for nickel sulfate, we think the price will be about 2,000% room to hit the lowest price. And for lithium carbonate, there will be about 30% room to hit the lowest price, since the supply and the price of the raw materials include spodumene and lepidolite will have room to decrease. But for cobalt sulfate, we think there will be 10% room to decrease. Yes, that's my view about the price. Yes.
Thanks so much for sharing, also sharing some numbers there. I think it's quite interesting because also think about from a demand perspective rather than just the supply, because I think there's been a lot of discussion about not sufficient supply. So good to hear that you see that there's room there to increase in the future. Another topic I would also like to touch on is black mass. Right? We also here at the conference, there were some interesting panels talking about recycling, and there were questions about what even is black mass, what is the definition, because all kinds of people and companies have their own, and I know you have been tracking black mass also with SMM, which is exciting. And actually I've looked at some of your data there before. And I'm just to understand maybe what's black mass, and of course also any pricing you can share, any developments in that regard.
Okay, and also maybe I want to share the pricing method for the black mass, since the China is a more mature market. So as we can see that China has undergone 4 stages, and we think the European market is at the first phase in China. So we can introduce the 4 stages of China first. In the first phase, we think the blacksmiths, sellers, and buyers, they are using nickel and cobalt metal price as their benchmark to calculate their value. And in the phase 2, the buyers and sellers are using nickel sulfate and cobalt sulfate price as their benchmark. But in the phase 3, it based on the phase 2, they add the lithium carbonate separately to calculate their value. And in the fourth phase, it's now some companies are trying to use the anode as well as aluminum and etc. The materials to calculate their total value, since the market is more transparent. Yes, this is a pricing method.
That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. One question, I'm not sure if you're able to share something. Where is China? Where in these stages? Would you say China is today in one of the stages?
We think that China is at the stage of phase 3 and phase 4.
Wow. Okay. So there's quite a bit to catch up in Europe.
Yes.
That's exciting to hear.
But we think it is in intense competition. So some companies, especially some small and middle-sized companies, they have little room to get their profit. So it's their hard time.
Yeah, it makes more challenge. I heard companies walking around here looking for more black mass.
Yes. Since in Chinese market, the government inhabit the producers of nickel sulfate and cobalt sulfate to import the black mass from the overseas market. Yes, so they are very lack of raw materials.
Yes. Wow. So that's I think interesting to see as well that there's a push for importing rather than exporting. Yeah. Great. And then another topic, of course, something which also keeps us quite busy here is in Europe is regulation. And there's a new EU battery regulation which was passed this year, which keeps quite a lot of us quite busy, and there's a lot of requirements there, for example, on recycling, but also traceability, etc. So it'd be just great to also have your perspective, maybe also what you have seen in China, in terms of perspective on regulation there as well.
Okay, we think the challenges come from the opportunities come from the challenges, and the Chinese enterprises are facing big pressures, but especially under the lithium-ion battery, especially under the European Battery Act and the IRA, the globalization of battery supply chain is expected to accelerate, since the distribution of battery materials as well as battery chemicals are still uneven. So we think for the overseas enterprises, maybe they have opportunities to construct new capacities in Europe or in North America, etc. Yes, and we think the increasing transparent recycling policies in China compared with the relatively well-established legislation in external market, both their own advantages and the construction of new recycling capacity in various countries needs to learn from each other's strengths. So we think maybe for some Chinese enterprises as well as European enterprises, they have opportunities to construct new capacity in Europe, maybe Hungary or some other countries.
Fantastic. No, you mentioned learning things. I definitely learned things today from you, so really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Hearing about also these different stages in recycling, and it's quite exciting to hear that you're already in stage 3 to 4. So I think that's really good to hear, and wonderful to speak to you. Thanks for taking the time.
You're welcome.